Well, it really has had a drastic impact on the way we do business. We immediately developed a work from home solution for as many as employees as we could, not only from a back office standpoint, but a customer facing standpoint. Our customer care team, our collection team, which is Teleperformance, is our third party provider. They assisted us with some very quick movement in order to facilitate really a seamless transition from a brick and mortar environment into a virtual environment. We saw a lot of great results, not only internally, but with our external partners through April and May. March was pretty tough, but let's be realistic. Everybody is a human being that's affected by this. This isn't a small group of individuals that were affected by a natural disaster, an earthquake or a hurricane. This was globally, and the way we really decided to approach this was being very proactive and reaching out to our customers, seeing if they needed assistance. We were doing that both through old-fashioned phone calls, all the way up through using digital media, text messaging, emails. We were really targeting first-time delinquent customers, knowing that they may have had the hardest impact, to see what we can do to assist them, to help them through any financial burdens that they were currently going through.
You know what's interesting about that answer is we've seen some Q&A before, and one of the questions has made the assumption that we stopped outbound dialing, and we didn't, right? I mean, in some states we had to. Todd, what have you seen in that under that heading, and also what did you expect?
Well, very similar to Josh's answer is we in essence were really forced to do the work from home option, something that normally we wouldn't have ever looked into, quite frankly. But fortunately, our partners, as well as Teleperformance in Jamaica, were able to support us as well in that realm. And we were able to do it fairly successfully. As you stated a little bit earlier, Ronnie, we did not stop outbound dialing as a result of this, other than the states where we could not do so. But what we focused on more is creating programs for our customers to deal with hardships, as well as really coaching our agents on the extreme importance of empathy with the customer at this time. I think one of the things that we've learned, or one of the things that were the major impact, was that, to Josh's point, this is unique in that everybody's experiencing this. It's not just a particular part of the country or particular part of the world. Everyone in this country has been impacted directly by this, either knowing someone who's maybe lost employment or have had their hours cut. And so I think right there's just some built-in empathy and understanding of situations that maybe weren't there before. So that's kind of the biggest thing. And the other surprising thing in my mind is, we had anticipated a serious drop-off in remits and dollars collected, and we have not seen that. I believe a lot of that is due to the payments that the government has provided, as well as the subsidizing of additional unemployment. And I think the thing that really is interesting is when people are locked down, they don't really have a lot of places to go out and spend their money. And as a result of that, we've actually seen a little bit of an uptick in the amount of money we've been able to collect. Not so much in March, but definitely in April and May, we've had some better results than maybe we had seen previously.
I think in March we were all worried about toilet paper and, getting ready for this big pandemic. I mean, I hate to say that, but we saw what happened in the grocery stores. So here's another interesting thing on this note. So I spent some time with our compliance department, because we're such a highly regulated industry, and they were telling me that from the CFPB, complaints are down in general. And you see things like, another question that came through was about this bill 3565 that somebody tried to pass in Congress in March, about, you can't make contact during a natural disaster. But yet the exact opposite is happening, where we're seeing many of our clients are stating, just in general, their complaints are down. Do any of you have a take on why that might be happening? I think you kind of led to that a minute ago, Todd, but what are your thoughts on the fact that, hey, there are only a few states we couldn't dial out of, or dial into, and also we do inbound work as well, but yet complaints are down overall. Anybody have a thought on that?
Yeah, I can kind of speak to that. I kind of have a theory that it goes back to the fact that we're all experiencing the same thing, right? And as human beings, when we go through tragedies or we go through difficult times, I think we can relate better on an individual level, right? I think sometimes in the collection space, and myself starting out as a young collector, we can be very cynical, right? That people, are blowing us off. They're telling us a story. They're trying to avoid things. Well, you can't really avoid COVID because it is impacting folks directly. So, one of my theory is it's allowed us to be a little more, human with one another and more understanding of situations and more willing to maybe work with people than we were in the past, right? To give them longer periods of time to make arrangements, to find unique ways on hardship programs to help them out. So I just think, in my opinion, because we're all going through this, maybe we're a little bit nicer than maybe we were in the past. And to some extent, maybe people want somebody to talk to, right? There are folks out there that might be locked up and pretty lonely. So, that's kind of a really wild guess, but that's kind of my thoughts on the whole thing.